So Luke Mills, how you doing, man? Here's your portfolio. Luke, I think, wrote a thing as well. Let me see here. So originally, I studied computer science and made apps. However, when I went to college, I discovered that I could do game design course. This is where I started learning a bit of everything from 3D art and animation to programming and VFX. I later specialized in 3D games art in university, and I love creating environments in particular, and being able to tell a story through them. I've now graduated the first with a first in university, and I'm looking to get into the industry. My goal is working as an environment artist in AAA studio, developing my skills and pushing them to help create worlds and tell stories. I've currently had no luck despite completing what feels like countless art tests. Yeah, art tests, man, they'll consume the hell out of you. They can take a lot of work sometimes. I want to push my environmental art further. My latest and largest original scene I created for my final year project, Revolution Denied. I wonder if I can even show those on Twitch. The swastika, like, or the Nazi symbol. Um, I want to push my environment further. I'm currently trying to get my first major job in the industry and just want a blueprint or guidance on how to make my portfolio and my artwork the best it can be. All in all, I just need some direction as to where to go in my portfolio so I can increase my chance of getting a job. I would love some harsh, straightforward, and probably brutal feedback and instructions on what exactly I could do to get responses from the companies I've applied to. So, first, let's talk about applying to studios. So, if you apply to a studio, um, when you apply to that studio, if they don't reply back, I usually give it about 2 weeks, and then I send them an email back saying, "Hey, thanks for the opportunity to apply to the studio. Um, look forward to hearing from you," and then move on as if that's a goodbye, like you're not going to hear from them. That way you don't have the mindset of waiting, and you can just keep moving forward, because like that's not going to hurt them, and it's just keeping your brain tied up when you could be focusing on some other stuff, right? Um, now, when it comes to art tests, don't kill yourself on art tests, and don't be scared to let a studio know that, hey, I'm doing an art test for this place. Um, I can't start the art test for you guys until this time, or like figuring out like how to manage multiple art tests so that you're not doing those. Write a heartfelt cover letter. I mean, a, a good cover letter is nice. Um, but yeah, definitely be careful on that regard. I'm going to go through some of this stuff and just kind of look at where we're at with things. This is 3 years ago, of course, so we won't critique it too much. There's a lot of detail that's happening with the rivets, so being careful with how many rivets there are is going to be key when doing this type of stuff. There's also, everything kind of looks like it's made out of the same material, so figuring out how to separate your materials, like this area, for example, and this area are really nice just because they're showing a different material. So, like, for example, this cable, this tubing here could be white or black, or if it's white, maybe it's a little dirtier. Does it have a different roughness map? Those types of details you want to look for, and you want to kind of push to separate out that type of information. There's some other presentation things, like if you're going to do the ground here, you got to do it well. Right now, it's quite like there's a lot of stretching. It's really low detailed. I'm not sure what these details are. This feels really strange. I guess it's supposed to be stylized, right? But oh, you baked those as well. Oh, I see. Yeah, metalness as well. Make sure your metalness is black or white, just for the sake of like helping you have a better chance at getting a job. I think it's good that you did your UVs, like showing your UVs. But yeah, if it's metal, it's white. If it's not metal, it's black. There are two texture sets. Wait, what? Is it because of the? Okay, I gotta see this. You should be able to do this tank in one texture set. I mean, this looks pretty cool. It is definitely. It's just suffering from like multiple. Like it needs more materials. These lights could be brighter, so the emissive is like blasting. You get some nice glow in there. What if it's dusty metal? That's always my argument. If it's dusty metal, why? Why? If it's dusty metal, I would avoid that. I mean, it's a great argument, but the roughness seems like an afterthought. Let me see the. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of information in the roughness. If it's dusty, make it rusty. Nice, nice. Yeah, if it's dusty, you adjust the roughness. It's still metal, right? That type of detail is so micro, it's still metal. If it's full on dust, like a caked dust, it's dust. It's not metal. I think once we can get that type of fidelity down, man, video games are gonna look real. But let's continue through this stuff. Din Rusty. Oh man. Hello again, Pontus. Outer Worlds, nice. So this looks pretty cool. I'm fighting back a yawn right now. Hmm. Hmm. Again, I feel like let me see if there's maps in here. I feel like the roughness. Maybe I can pull it up in this viewer. So everything is very shiny. So I don't know what material is what. Let's see if we can metalness, roughness. I mean, this could be why everything's metal. Okay, so this can't be metal because it's red, right? That's paint. So that's good. This can't be metal either if it's painted. These little scratches though, those would be metal. Oh man, I recognize that. So thinking about your roughness, I think this is probably the basis for uh your this is probably your biggest weak point right now is your roughness. It could be I can never say it. Inodized blue metal. It could be. What's your opinion on putting official logos on fan art, by the way? It's a pet peeve of yours. Interesting. I think as long as it says fan art, see the art of, I think implies that you worked on this. I would change that to fan art or Outer Worlds fan art or art inspired by Outer Worlds, the Outer Worlds, if that makes sense. I think this is giving us a bit of a I mean it's spelled out here, but for anyone who doesn't read this, they might think that you worked on Outer Worlds. You know what I mean? I would just say art inspired by and then Outer Worlds. It's good you're linking the artists in here from the it's also extremely dangerous. Oh, I see why you're doing the materials that you're doing. It's really dangerous to um and I mean you can do it, but making yeah, it turns you off unless it's very obvious. Yeah, make sure it's super obvious. See, because this one says Obsidian, the art of. See, this is even. Hang on, wait, what? See, now I'm actually confused. This is actually an Insomniac employee. Original concept of a flamethrower. Whoa. What is going on? Okay. In-game model by Ken, which is yeah, I would change this like immediately because this looks like you work there. Um, so what I was gonna say is your biggest weakness is probably your materials. You really got to tune those materials to get that right. And I think it starts with your roughness. Yeah, Ben, that's a good way of looking at it. Including a logo is a bit out of order. You will also be asked to take it down if it's borderline unclear and a legal team catches wind of it. Yeah, so it could get that could get pretty spicy pretty fast. Um, but yeah, as we're looking through your stuff, I think where things are breaking down is mainly in your materials. Oh, I remember this. I saw this. Bad Blueprint beta project. Dude, this is more than I've been able to do gameplay wise. I just make art. Whoa, that's cool. Dude, is that a realized three-dimensional map? Stare at it, but not too long. Oh, hell no. Oh, I can't. Okay. We're continuing down. So again, I think materials definition of like not only the surfaces, but understanding how walls are made and put together. Right now, these walls are very flat feeling. They have normal maps on them and such, yes, but they feel very, very flat. Uh, your ceilings are pretty cool, but it's really about understanding and defining the surfaces and how they connect. Like for example, this is just a what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8-sided maybe table with the faces inset and then extruded in. So really pushing the complexity of your designs is going to be important. This looks pretty cool. Interior lighting. This is like a Jinx color palette. Cyberpunk by lighting. Bioshock horror. Nice. Nice. Neutral. So just a lighting study. I think when you do lighting studies, this is more of like a mood. Um, when you're picking colors, I think pushing your scenes to be even more so about the lighting. Like what's these ceiling lights right now they seem to be flooding the entire space. That's interesting. These are here, but they're not. They're here, but they're off. I'm trying to understand. Okay, so I'm going in. We're doing this. I'm looking at it. This is this is a big scene. I would suggest scaling your scenes back so you don't have to focus too much on the on executing a giant scene. Yeah, and I totally agree, Muck. If you're practicing lighting, the materials need to be freaking spot on with the albedo and the roughness. So it's actually better to study lighting in like a a scene made of like simple blocked walls and like cubed ceilings that just stretch across the space, like very like large shapes that are just using like ArcViz, like concrete and stuff like that, because then you're just really like focusing on the lighting and stuff, and you can guarantee that all the materials are pretty spot on. um, I think it's just a matter of like if we look at this computer right now, it's quite like there's some shape. Yeah, brutalism for sure. You could do some pretty cool lighting studies of that. But like you can see the modeling here, like you shouldn't even be texturing this right now. What you should be focusing on is making sure that the model looks good from like a modeling standpoint. Like there's a weird edge here. The mouse is really angular. The keyboard feels strangely thin. Um, just getting all of those elements of the modeling correct is going to be key. And then after that, then you get into like the bakes, making sure that the bakes look good. So you're getting like normal issues here in your either how the low poly is or how the bakes are coming through. You have some hard edges here. This could literally be modeled open, or you could do alpha at this point. Like you can add more geometry to these. You should never be able to see the edge count. Um, Definitely look at references when you're looking at these types of things. Oh, my watch is talking to me. Um, that sticky note looks reflective, like shiny. It's yeah. So I would say, like, if I had to, okay, you asked me to be uh, brutal. I don't like being brutal. I don't like being harsh, but I will rate your skill sets right now. So your modeling out of like a 5, I would say is somewhere around a 2 or a 3. There's lots of potential in here. It's just a matter of tightening up those details. That way everything comes together. Because you have an understanding of all this stuff. It's just a matter of understanding it further and putting it all together. So your modeling, I'd put like a 2 or a 3 out of 5. Your materials, I would put at like a 3 out of 5. And your lighting, let me see here. I mean, this lighting scene isn't a lighting study because of the difference between doing lighting on something that's has correct albedos and roughness versus one that doesn't. This is more of like an ambient kind of tone or a theme. This scene's pretty cool. I think because of the scale of it, it actually requires a whole lot of you. There's actually elements in here that look really good. Like this area right here, this looks pretty nice. But because of the scale and the things you're trying to do, like you need to focus on making effects look better because there's fire there. These spotlights look pretty nice with the ray. Yeah, it's weird because like, hang on, let me see here. So this is 8 months ago, and this one's a year ago. This actually looks better than the computer, and I think it's just a matter of like the flags are really stiff. Maybe in motion it would look better. Man, you put some work into those buildings in the back. But like for example, the water here feels like it's liquid mercury, right? And it's very like adverse to being soaked into the ground. The ground doesn't look like it's being affected by it. It doesn't look like water flows through there. So I think I would really focus on the modeling, get the models to look real good, and then let's start talking materials on that model. I think the poly count on this could probably be quadrupled just to get those details in. And make sure to look at references. It looks like you got a label, but I don't know, like the back of the monitor feels very odd to me. It's like cuz this what is it? This connection here? DVI? I think a DVI connection should be a DVI in the back of the monitor as well. Unless it's man, if it's really old, then maybe the DVI could be that way. But yeah, let's actually. I think what I would suggest doing is, like I was saying, model stuff. make some things, make them look good, just in the model, and like a directional light on it. Post those in critiques. Let's get some feedback on that. Get the quality up. Then I'll be like, you can poke me and just ask me, hey, where's my skill set at? Now I'm getting good feedback on this one. And then from there, let's move into the texturing phase. I think that is probably the most real I've ever gotten with someone. But cool. Hopefully that is helpful. Hopefully that is what you're looking for. I want you to succeed. So let's just let's keep grinding at it, shall we? All right. Thanks, Luke, for sharing your portfolio. And that's the last portfolio.